know, for a moment then I lost concentration. I don't know why. The music came on and I suddenly started falling asleep for some reason. Very good morning to you. No, it's afternoon. Very good afternoon to you. It's just gone 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, the 18th of September 2010. A warm welcome along to you. If that's the time where you are now, you are able to join in with the show live this afternoon. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. We have a Skype in. Our Skype in username is United Kingdom Radio. And I also have a phone-in number as well, 020-3287-1488. That's a local London number, okay? 020-3287-1488. Now, eagle-eared people will notice that my voice is still not back to normal, is it, boys and girls? Well, I had a little visit to the doctor yesterday. You see, I always make this mistake of, when there is something wrong, I tend to leave it. And I leave it, and I leave it, and I leave it. Indeed, there has been a couple of occasions where I've nearly, gone. Yeah. Because I've left things too long. Once was a burst appendix, about 12 years ago. And the second time was not too long ago, actually, about 3 years ago, which happened twice when I had some extremely bad bouts of flu, which I know what that was now, but at the time it was a little bit touch and go. And I am one of these people, I'm afraid, possibly typical to men, who leaves and leaves and leaves things without actually going down to see the doctor. I don't know why I do that. Just one of those things. It's a bit silly, isn't it? Anyway, so I went down to the doctor on Friday afternoon. I made an appointment. 4:10 was the appointment. So I get into the doctor's and I thought, well, I usually get to these things early. Got there at about 4:10, okay? And I waltzed in and went to the reception. Reception, they answer there. Hello, surgery. Don't know, they answer the phone like that. Surgery. Hey, surgery. So she says, hello, what's your name? Mr. Reardon, thank you very much. There's your number. And you get this plastic number, right? Little square plastic number. And my number was 16. Okay? There are various different coloured numbers, right? I had 18. Do you know I have 8? Just a minute, I've lost the plot now. What did I have? I had 16. I definitely had 16. I had 16. Number 16, red. Now, there are various different coloured numbers depending on which doctor you were going to see. So on this particular day, there were 3 doctors in the surgery. I had the red one, there were a blue one, and there was a yellow one as well. I had the red one. And I looked over onto the place where you're supposed to put the number. The idea is that there's like a board with various different hooks on it. And each hook has a different colour. So I looked down at my red one, and there was already a number on there that said 6. And I thought, 6. And I'm 16. There are 10 people in front of me. Now, I know I'm 20 minutes early, but let me tell you this, 20 minutes does not equal 10 people. No way. And I thought, my God, they're running well behind. At this point, I saw my old postman, who was there, with a lady that I recognised from working in Waitrose, who I also knew. And they're sitting there, I said, oh, hello, how are you? And they both said hello. And I'm like, are you two married? And they said, yeah. So, oh my God, all this time I've known these two people as individuals. I never knew they were married. Isn't it a small world? My old postman, he was wonderful. Always came on time. Same time every day this post would arrive. Absolutely the same time. Not now. Oh no. Sometimes it comes at 11 in the morning. Sometimes at 9. Sometimes at 12:30 in the afternoon. You just never know. Very inefficient. Bring back the old school, that's what I say. So they're sitting there, and they said, what number have you got? I said, 16. "Oh, we've got 15. We've been here a while already." She said, "Have you looked at the number?" I said, "Yeah, it's only on number 8. By now it was on number 8, okay? And I said, "Well," and I picked up a paper and I thought, I'm going to be sitting here now, and I thought, I don't want this. I said, "I tell you what, I'm going to go back home, have a cup of tea, hoover a few rooms and come back again." She said, "Oh, what if you miss your turn?" I said, "Look, we ain't going to miss our turns." I said, "You could quite happily do the same. Go and have a cup of tea, come back later." And that's exactly what I did. I sneaked out the door, because you don't want a receptionist seeing you. Oh, they're like Rottweilers, aren't they? Run, 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 run. You do not want the receptionist seeing you in the doctor. Absolutely not. Leave with one of their oh-so-precious plastic numbers. I've got to give it to them. Our doctor is pretty good. I can usually see a doctor within 24 hours. I mean, it is quite quick. All right, just to let you know that. Don't think we've got bad doctors here, because we have very good doctors here in Royal Berkshire. So I came back home, had a cup of tea, watched a bit of the Pope on the telly. I left it about half hour, 40 minutes, I suppose, and then I cycled back. Now, why did I go to the doctors? Oh, yeah, is that what you wanted? I've had this cough hanging around now, and difficulty with my asthma, a little bit of breathing problem. So that's what I'm going to say. And it's been hanging around for a week. Okay, I mustn't keep leaving these things for long periods of time. You've got to go and get them sorted, because most of the time they can be sorted. You know, so why not? So I've cycled back, got back in there, I looked over at the thing, it's now on number 12. So I thought, oh, well, and I said to her, my friend was sitting there, that lady from Waitrose, I don't even know her name. And she said, "Oh, good job you're back soon." I said, "Well, another 3 people." She said, "Oh no, we just checked. There are some numbers missing." Oh. I said, "Well, who's next?" She said, "Us, and then it's you." "Oh, good." So they then called him in a few minutes later. And then I said, "Well, don't be too long." And he laughed. And he was only in there a few minutes, and then I went in. So it all sort of functioned okay. Wasn't as bad as we thought. They had numbers missing. I wonder, if they had numbers missing, was it anything to do with the fact that people had possibly taken them home, okay, and had a cup of tea and watched a bit of telly, and possibly forgotten to return them? Do you think that might have happened? I mean, could that have happened to me? Of course not, no, because I have a super brain, and I wouldn't forget such things. Don't you worry about me. Don't worry about me. I remember these things, right? So there we are. He's gone in, he's come out, and then they've called me in. Dr. Joe. Now, I've never met Dr. Joe before. And I got up from my seat, and I went and hooked my number up on the board. Hooked my number over. And then I went trundling into the doctor's surgery. With great anticipation, I wandered through the corridors of our doctor's surgery. Went round the corner and entered yellow room number 5. No, sorry, red room number 5. Wouldn't be yellow because I didn't have a yellow tag. I had a red tag. Remember, I've already told you this. Do pay attention. And I sat down. "Hello, Dr. Joe. What seems to be the problem?" So I told her. Having a bit of a breathing difficulty. Had a cold a few days ago. That went quite quickly. But it's left me with sort of lungs that feel full up. When I'm coughing, like that, it feels like there's something trying to get up, but it's having trouble. Sometimes it does get up. Sometimes, and you get a mouthful. And it goes down the other end. But it is difficult to get it up. She said, "Okay, let's have a listen." And out came the stethoscope. Stethoscope. I'm going to say that. Stethoscope. That's it. She placed her little earbuds inside her ear holes. "Lift your t-shirt, please." And I did. I had a Ralph Lauren t-shirt on. Do hope it didn't get creased while I was lifting it up. And she started lifting. "Breathe in and out, please." I was going. As she placed her metal thing on the end of her two lug-hole things in various areas of my chest. She says, okay. She said, can you breathe normally now, please? And turn around and lift the back of your t-shirt up. I thought, well, I hope she's not looking at my bum. How rude is that? This is supposed to be a doctor's surgery. Anyway, I don't think she was. And she started tapping on my back, like this. She'd put one hand, a couple of fingers on my back, like that, and then she'd tap those fingers quite hard. And then she said, okay, can you do your breathing again now, please? So I did. And she's listening various areas of my back. And she says, she sat down, okay. She sat down, she said, well, it's not pneumonia. And I said, pneumonia? I said, why did you say that? She said, well, it's not. She said, I said, oh, is there a difference? Well, she said, you've got a bit of a chest infection, probably in the right lung. I mean, how do they know these things? It's not like she can see through me, isn't it? Isn't it clever? How you can decipher such things out simply by listening for a pair of headphones. I mean, we've all got those, haven't we? Just a minute now. Where am I? Here am I. I mean, we've all got headphones. And quite frankly, I think my headphones are better than hers. She had these little buds sticking in her ear holes. Yes. I said, oh. She said, yeah. I said, well, I had a similar thing in January and they gave me some steroid tablets. She said, okay. So she's having a look around and she's got a little bit of paper, her prescription, standing by there, and she starts filling it out. And she says, right, she says, I'm going to give you some antibiotics, 3 a day. Of which, by now, I've had 3 of those so far. 3 of those, okay. She gave me some steroid tablets, 6 tablets, once a day. Now, I know that sounds a lot, but they are very, very small. I should have brought them up here, really. They are very, very small little tablets, these steroid tablets. I mean, whether I will grow muscles or not, I don't know. Somehow, I kind of doubt it. I don't think the muscles are going to grow. Okay, so steroid tablets. I've also got a steroid asthma pump to be used twice a day, 1 puff twice a day, so I suppose in the morning and in the evening at regular intervals like that. Alright? And hello to Henry Floyd as well, who's with us this afternoon. Good afternoon, Henry. And is that all I've got? Yeah, that's it, I think. And plus the normal pills I have usually every day at 12 o'clock anyway. So quite a lot of tablets are being dished down my throat at the moment. Anyway, I had the first lot of antibiotic tablets at 8 o'clock last night. Then I had another one at 3 o'clock this morning, just before I went to bed. And I had another one at 11 o'clock this morning. So roughly 8 hours apart, 3 times a day, you see. And I have to say, already I am feeling better. The cough is certainly not anywhere near as bad. The steroid tablets, I've had 1 lot of 6 of those. And I've had so far 2 puffs from my steroid inhaler. So that's quite a lot, isn't it? It's quite a lot. However, it does seem to be making a difference. Now, I'm not checking. I'm always a bit funny, though, about taking drugs. You know? While I was in the doctor, the other thing I said is, what is the steroid spray for? Are the steroid tablets not enough? And she said without even flinching, this is. I mean, there are ways of saying things to people. And she came out with, well, what we do know is that people who have died from asthma attacks haven't had a steroid pump. Oh right, okay. What a thing to say. She just came straight out with it like that. Fair enough, I'll take it, dear. Give me some. Give me 2. Give me 5. And it's as simple as that, isn't it, eh? Wonderful. So I am feeling a little bit better already, and thank God for that, because of course I'm going up to see my sister tonight. Very, very much looking forward to going to see my sister. I have booked into a hotel, because regular viewers and listeners to the show will know my cat has actually, my sister rather, has actually got 3 dogs, and well, she's only got 2 cats now. And they have the run of the house, and it plays absolute havoc with my asthma problem. I mean, really bad. Really bad. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't get into a hotel tonight, so the first night I will have to spend in a spare room, but I'm just going to have to cope with that. And then Sunday afternoon I move into a hotel just for Sunday, Monday, just for like 3 nights. And actually I'm quite looking forward to staying in a hotel for 3 nights. That'd be nice. And it is very, very close to my sister's house. The hotel is 6 minutes walk from her house. So very, very much looking forward to that. Fag Ash Lil says, can I call you? Yes, of course you can. Of course you can call me Fag Ash Lil if you want to. We've never spoken for ages. Fag Ash Lil is here, and she says, 1 puff to be used twice a day. No dear, 1 puff. Do pay attention to what I'm saying. 1 puff twice a day on the steroid inhaler. And I have my normal blue inhaler for any other problems that might occur. She said, surely you didn't go to the doctors for that, Chris. Listen, if I could get 2 a day, I would do, but I can't, dear. So we're going to have to stick to the steroid inhaler, I'm afraid. And all the other little pills and bits and pieces are coming along nicely. Okay, so that's it, really. Anyway, as I say, going to my sister's, staying at a nice hotel in Woodhall Spa, which is where she lives, called the Golf Hotel. Never actually, I have been in there actually, they do lunches and things like that. And they have in this hotel the biggest flat screen telly you have ever seen in your entire life. I mean, seriously, this telly is enormous, and it's in like the bar kind of restaurant area. It's very, very, very nice indeed to spend an afternoon just sitting there. Perhaps with a drink or a cup of tea. You can have tea or something to eat, just watching this just ginormous television. This thing is massive, massive. So I shall be travelling up there after work tonight. I'm going to work tonight in Belushi's, DJing tonight in the Hammersmith branch of Belushi's. Looking forward to that. And then driving up there through the night. It's always the best time to drive. Now, if you're worried about my cat, Katie, please do not fear, because a very dear friend of mine is moving in for a few days and looking after. I do get concerned. I can't be putting her in a cattery. I cannot be putting my cat in a cattery. She has to be looked after, and that's it. She's her personality seems to have changed recently. She has become even more friendly, but the biggest difference I see is where she sits down. You know, our cats just sit down and they stay there for ages and ages, just watching the world. Well, instead of going in my back garden, she's now going at the front of the house. Right? Now, there are 4 houses where I am, next to each other. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn a corner, there's 2. 1, 2. And around the other side, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost like a horseshoe shape, with a large piece of green and trees in between all of them. Right? My cat, she used to sit sort of by the door on the pavement sometimes. But I have noticed she is now coming right out of the doorway and onto like the communal bit of grass, but further down towards the other 3 houses. And I'm noticing this change over the last few days. She seems to be sitting further and further down this piece of green, almost as if she is extending her territory. So I don't know if anyone knows anything about that. Possibly Susan, our cat lover, will know all about that. But she certainly, oh, well, isn't it hopeless, isn't it? It really is. Why do you think, Fag Ash Lil, why do you think I worry about you calling in? This goes on for months, it says. Fag Ash Lil was always very worried that she's upsetting. You don't upset anyone. You are one of our favourite people here on United Kingdom Radio. So please, will you stop worrying about annoying people or making people fed up with your calls and messages, because you don't. We love your calls, especially you. Okay? No, I'm not just saying this. No, don't think you can read my mind and think I'm saying this to make you feel better. I'm not saying it for that at all. We love your messages. We love your phone calls. So please keep them coming in. Especially you, Fag Ash Lil. Alright? I can't make it any clearer. Please don't send a message saying you're saying that to make me feel better, because I'm not. We love your messages, Fag Ash Lil, especially as you're in Hove and it's really posh there. And I think possibly you are the only posh person listening or watching to this show that I know about. I mean, I'm having a look now on the Skype list of the possible people that might with us this afternoon. You know, I mean, dare I use the word council? Not like you, Fag Ash Lil, and your huge mansion in Hove. Massive. I reckon she's got a massive place. Fag Ash Lil. If you're wondering where Hove is, if you're overseas, it's a lovely place. It's next to a dump called Brighton. Brighton is a dump. I mean, it is. It's a dump. Hove is really nice. And I would want to live in Hove. But if I could pick up my house that I have here, because I love the house I've got, if I could pick up this house and move it to Hove, I possibly would do. But I'd have to bring some trees with me as well. You know, some of the pine trees here. Because there are not many trees in Hove, is there? It's all seaside. I love it. I went out with someone in Hove. What was the name of the road he lived on? Could it have been 2nd Avenue, something like that? Have you got... let me have a look at that. I'll tell you exactly where he lived, then you can tell me. Fag Ash Lil. Just a minute now. Map of Hove. One moment, please. I am now searching Brighton and... No, there it is. Brighton and Hove. Where's Hove? There's Hove. Oh, I'm zooming in now. Zooming in now. Right, let's go along the King's Road. Kingsway, rather. King's Road. Let me see if I can remember the road he lived in. Hove Street. Let's have a look. Oh, I don't know, dear. Just a minute. Where's the... there's the Brighton Pier. So we go along there a bit. Past the Brighton Centre. Grand, 3rd, 4th. Do you know, I'm not blooming sure now. What road did he live on? I think it was 3rd Avenue. I think he lived on 3rd Avenue. Is that near you? Is that like... is that near... Or is it even posher where you are, Fag Ash Lil? Eh? I'm trying to have a look on the map there. I think it might have been 3rd Avenue that he lived on. Anyway, nice place. It was quite a pleasant place, I have to say. Somewhere where I think I do feel I could live, you know. If you want to join in, boys and girls, our email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, or if you're listening live at 25 minutes past 3 on Saturday the 18th of September 2010, you can join in live by using our Skype service. Skype username is all one word, United Kingdom Radio, or indeed the phone-in number 020 3287 1488 020 3287 1488. Now I have gifts. I have bits and pieces for my sister and my niece and my nephews. Oh yes, always take a little thing up. For my younger nephew, I'm taking up some CD singles. We get a lot of CD singles from record companies. And while I'm DJing is my DJing and karaoke man. That's my main job. Okay, and so I get a lot of CDs through. But I DJ from a laptop, so I don't need to keep these CD singles. So I have to put them in a bag and just give them to him, and he plays with his music and whatever. Mind you, he doesn't play much music, actually. This is Jimmy, my 13-year-old nephew. He seems to spend virtually his entire life on the Xbox. Now, fortunately, We don't moan too much about that, because he does go out playing football quite a lot and all that business that little boys do on the bikes and running around and all that. So he does do all that. He's not one of these lads who spends his entire life in front of the Xbox, which I think is just such a waste of a life. Or indeed people that spend their entire lives on computers, sitting there day and night. Are you one of those people? It's not good for you. You've got to get out and do some exercise. You really have. Now, while I am in Lincolnshire, it may be that I am able to meet a little young friend of mine called Mikey Holt, who's in Grantham, which is you know, not too far away from Woodhall Spa. So we'll have to see how that goes. I shall have to text him and let us know. I don't know if he's with us this afternoon. There's not too many people with us this afternoon, is there? Let's have a look. No, you're all very quiet this afternoon. Never mind. So that's it. I should be up there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and probably come back Wednesday. I'm also taking my sister a large box of my homegrown tomatoes. Now, I wish I'd bought them up the stairs here, so those of you that are watching the show could, but I haven't, unfortunately. I've got a great big box of homegrown tomatoes. Now, the only thing with homegrown fruit and veg and stuff like that is it doesn't come out perfectly. You have to understand that. You know, this is not supermarket goods where every tomato is roughly the same size, almost exactly the same size and the same colour and the same texture. I don't know how they do that. How do these great industrial places do it so that all these things come together? You know? To make the same size. Do you know, I've just bitten a piece off my finger. I'm now chewing it. Do you ever do that? Tastes quite nice. I think I could have been a cannibal in a last life, something else. Possibly eating body parts of myself or other people. If you loved someone enough, would you eat them? A whole different ball game that is, isn't it? Cannibalism. I may try Mikey Holt's arm if I meet him on Monday, if I have the time to do that. Because I think we're going to be meeting in Morrison's. And no doubt I will have to foot the bill for a Morrison's full English breakfast for me, and a Morrison's veggie breakfast for Mikey Holt, because he is a non-meat eater, which I think deserves a round of applause. I'm very impressed with that. Nothing wrong with being a vegetable-arian. There we are. And Mikey Holt, I will expect some sort of gift. Friends bring each other gifts. My gift to you is your vegetarian breakfast. What are you going to bring me? That is the thing. Now, possibly something homemade. How about a little fairy cake, something like that? I quite like a little fairy cake with icing and hundreds and thousands sprinkled on top, and possibly, as we are only 4 months away from Christmas, some of those little silver balls. I think that would be quite pleasant. Mikey Holt says, a waste of life is doing something you don't want to do. Well, what don't you want to do then? Come on, what don't you want to do? Sean Richards says, why are you eating your finger? I don't know, I just felt a bit peckish. And it's not like I've just had a dinner, just had a massive dinner downstairs. Mikey Holt would be pleased with my dinner to know that it was a jacket potato with vegetables, with like garden vegetables on top, like tomatoes, carrots, mushrooms, onion. In the oven, roasted. Very tasty indeed. Right then, email time, boys and girls. Now we have two rather long emails from our good friend Jennifer. And by the way, fans and loyal listeners and viewers, just to let you know, I will not be here on Tuesday, and I think we're going to knock Thursday out as well next week because, yeah, I won't be here on Tuesday and Thursday next week, okay? Pay attention. Once again, I will not be here next Tuesday and Thursday. I know. What are you going to do? I don't know. I really don't know. Not here on Tuesday and Thursday, just next week, okay? Hello, Jennifer. Now, she sends in two emails, as I say. The first one is referring to the shows last Saturday and on Tuesday as well. And we were talking about G-strings. What is the point in people that wear G-strings? She says G-strings, aka butt floss. Butt floss. I love him. What are they good for? I'll tell you, she said. They're short for VPL, visible panty lines. They are mostly for women, but some men wear them. Now, which strange men are wearing these awful G-strings? Mikey Holt says he's not a vegetarian. Well, hang on a minute. I said I'd buy you a full English breakfast, and you said yuck meat. So you don't like meat, you don't like vegetable. What on earth do you eat? You sit there eating chocolate all the time. Is that what it is? Huh? Just sits there eating chocolates all the time. Dear me. Anyway, visible panty line. I wonder if Mikey Holt wears a G-string. I wonder if Sean Riches, who's with us this afternoon, is also... Are we all wearing G-strings this afternoon? Should we try it? Should we? Should we all go out and try one of these new items of underwear? I don't think so. Anyway, Jennifer says, if you've ever been behind a woman and her pants are somewhat snug, you can see where her underwear is. It's almost like seeing her without clothing. Oh dear, how awful, dear. Do we have to talk about such things on a Saturday afternoon, dear? Personally, I only wear G-strings during the day. They don't bother me at all unless I have a small pair on or I've gained weight. Then that could be a little more uncomfortable. Well, it must be like having a piece of cheese cutter going through you. It must be so uncomfortable having a bit of... What is the point? Come on. You know, I just don't understand it. I really don't. Mikey Holt said there's someone at your door. There's no one at my door. It's my chiming clock behind me. There's a difference between my... Would you like to hear the difference? Okay, I'll go downstairs now because you are confusing my chiming clock with my door. Aren't you? There is a difference, a huge difference. Of course, if you've been watching or listening to the show, then you'd know that. But you don't. You just pop in now and again when you feel like it. Don't you? Like a gas salesman, you just knock on the door randomly whenever you feel like it. You're not a regular viewer and listener, are you, Mikey Holt? Shocking, dear. He says, I'll have chocolate and cough junk food. Mikey Holt doesn't wear a G-string. He says he never worn one. Well, they probably don't do your size, do they? Extra small? I bet you're only about an 18 waist, aren't you? He's tiny little Mikey Holt. He's a small... I'm a small person. I too am a small person, boys and girls. I think I'm 5'5". Yes. Back to the email. I know you don't like looking at women's butts, Jennifer says. Yes, you're very right there, my love. However, women tend to check out other women more critically. Do you really? Is that what you do when you go out? You're eyeing other women up and down and gossiping about them. What a terrible thing to do. Shock horror. She says it's a whole sexuality thing. I know my husband would prefer to see me in a pair of G-strings over a pair of granny panties. Oh, God. Oh, Jennifer, I'm having these visions of you now. It's not nice. It really isn't, darling. I don't know if I dare continuing reading this email, to be honest. Do you remember, I think the show before last, we were talking about a bike that Jennifer's mother found. She actually found a bike. She says, and the bike my mother found, as I was sitting here, as it was sitting there all alone, on a sidewalk. There was no store or building there, just a long chain link fence. So it must have fallen off a truck. I don't honestly know or care either. All I know is that I got a new seat on it and I've started cycling. Are you enjoying that? I love it. I love cycling. It's just such a nice way of getting from A to B quickly as well, you know, or I go over the forest. It's wonderful cycling. Funnily enough, my chest infection hasn't stopped me doing anything that I usually do. Whether that be swimming or cycling, anything like that, I'm still continuing to do these things. It's just like the cough. Sometimes you can feel a bit stuck there. I mean, certainly with the swimming, I tend to do 40 lengths most days. And I get in the pool last week, getting in the pool. The first 6 to 8 lengths are difficult. I find myself keep coughing, and then eventually it comes up, you feel a lump come up or whatever, you know. And after that, it's fine. And then certainly for the next few hours after I've been swimming, my chest is fine again. It's at its worst when I wake up first thing in the morning. It's almost as if, you know, you haven't been moving around, you haven't been coughing or anything like that. So it almost has allowed the lungs to fill up. I suppose, I mean, I don't know too much about pneumonia and stuff like that, but I suppose, is that how you die? You kind of drown in your own phlegm? Oh, I don't know. Anyone else know that? Let me know. You know the email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Jennifer says, for 2 days now, I've ridden on my bike 30 minutes a day. I've become quite lazy lately, and a new bike in the house has got me motivated to get up and move. Maybe my daughter will ride to work if nobody is available to take her. She's got a job at a fabric craft store. I've shopped there many times. It's a great little store for decorations and creativity. They've had a help wanted sign in the window for about a year, and she applied before, but nothing ever transpired from it. We decided to try it again, and bam, she got the job. Well done. It's only 1 day a week at the moment, but that's okay considering it's her first job and still being in high school. Hopefully it will teach her some new responsibilities. Oh yeah, isn't it wonderful? Do you remember your first job, boys and girls? What was your first job? Doesn't necessarily have to be the first kind of main job that you've got. It could be a job that you were doing part-time at school, perhaps delivering papers. Tell me about your first job ever. Your first ever thing that you did to earn money. What did you do? Do you remember it? Do you remember getting that first load of money in your hand for something that you'd done? If you want to join in by Skype on that one, feel free to do so. My Skype username is all one word. United Kingdom Radio is my Skype in. United Kingdom Radio. Or indeed phone in 020 3287 1488. If you're with us live. 20 to 4. Saturday the 18th of September 2010. My first job was in Millets, which was a camping shop. Yeah, and I earned £12 for a Saturday. It was a Saturday job for Saturday, and I worked for that 9 till 6. I was so pleased with this money. Money that I had gone out and earned. Not signed some little bit of paper like the unemployed do. That is the unemployed that don't want to work. I'm not talking about the unemployed that do want to work, because there's plenty of those as well. We've got a couple of them doing shows on this station at the moment. People desperate for jobs and they just can't find anything. That's not funny. Yeah, Millets. Where was your first job, I wonder? Tell me about it. Either use the email chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk if you're listening or watching a recording of the show, or if you're with us live on the Skype, United Kingdom Radio, the Skype username, or 020 3287 1488. As with your cycling, Jennifer, I have started cycling long distances as well. Last Sunday, for no apparent reason, I just jumped on my bike and decided I was going to cycle to Ascot. And I found quite a nice route that doesn't actually go on any roads at all. You know, you can go across country on some of it. And it's about an hour's cycle there and an hour's bike. That's the thing, when you go on a bike cycle and you're thinking, well, let's see how far I can go today. Do remember that you've got to come back again. You've got to come back again, alright? Don't keep cycling until you're so tired of thinking, right, I'll go home now, because you've got to cycle back exactly the same distance. Alright? But I was out 2 hours. I was out a good 2 hours on Sunday. Got to Ascot, and guess what I found there? I had a Subway. Oh yes, we had a foot-long Subway. Ham and cheese toasted with tomato sauce and salad. Very tasty indeed. It is nice cycling, I love it. Jennifer says, as for books, because we're talking about books, do you want a book or an e-reader or an iPad? What do you fancy? Oh, technology news, technology news. Apparently there's a new phone coming out called the Nokia, is it the N80? Mikey Holt, I know this one. But apparently it's it's going to give the iPhone a run for its money. The Nokia, I think it's the G80 or I can't remember now what it is. Oh, how stupid. You'd think I would write these things down, wouldn't you? Anyway, Jennifer says, as for books, I hate to read. I just fall asleep. I usually read only when I'm in bed, so that I can doze off quickly. I prefer books with just pictures. It holds my attention longer. Heck, when my girls, Dallas and Dakota, were little, I used to try and read them Dr. Seuss books, and I'd be asleep before they were. Yeah, I didn't really like those either, Dr. Seuss. Nowadays, I just read the title, author, and the ISBN on the back cover. If you remember, I sell books online, so a truck bed full of books to read would be a nightmare for me. I'd much rather have a bonfire with them. Oh, really? I mean, I read slowly. I got the Tony Blair autobiography a couple of weeks ago, and I'm only on page, I can do around about 50, I think, at the moment. And the other thing with, you know, some people read books out loud, don't they? I think you've got to have the right voice to do that. If you're reading sort of a passage from a book, you need to have an interesting voice, almost that changes all the time, going up and down, and loud and soft. You need to have an interesting voice. There's no point, you know. Let me give you an example, right? I'll read I'll read the next bit that you wrote twice. First of all, in the voice that I would usually use, which is how I talk, okay? And secondly, in what I would call a monotone voice. And you tell me if it sounds more interesting, number one or number two, okay? Is it the Nokia N9? I don't think it is, Mikey. Let me have a quick look. Nokia N9. I don't think it's... no, I don't think it was the N9. Was it the N80? I don't know. I'm not quite sure which one it is. No, it's not the N80. Nokia. New phones coming. Let's try that. Isn't that annoying? I can't remember what it is now. Sorry, can't remember what it is. I heard it. There was a bloke talking about it on the radio the other day, and I wrote it down. Oh wait, is this it here? No, hang on. Don't think I've got it written down anywhere. No, I didn't write it down. Sorry. Right, let me read this in a different voice. You know, you got to have a reading voice. Listen, Mikey, listen. Okay, that's my clock. How pleasant is that, eh? Just a little addition to the studio. Always looking for new things to bring in here. Right, in my voice then. I was listening to Choose's podcasts, and I have been slighted. How can you say, if we don't join you live, we aren't loyal? Vicky in New York is just very fortunate to be able to join you. However, I am up at 6 a.m, but am so busy. You would distract me, and I'd sit down and be emailing you, and I'd be late for work. We don't want that all now, do we? Plus, when I listen to you, everyone who comes into my office gets a bit of you. They all mock me and start talking all British-like. It's actually quite comical. I, however, can only produce the accent perfectly. I'm sure you can, Vicky. I mean, surely, if you were late for work because of you listening or joining in with a show, if you just said you were watching Chris Reardon's United Kingdom talk, wouldn't they accept that as a excuse? I'm sure they would. Surely. Right. Let me read that now to you in a voice that wouldn't you probably would. Mikey, please. We'll have none of that sort of language on here, please. In a voice that you wouldn't want to hear it in. Now, listen to the difference. I was listening to Choose's podcast, and I've been slighted. How can you say, if we don't join you live, we aren't loyal? Vicky in New York is just very fortunate to be able to join you. I, however, am up at 6 a.m, but am so busy. You would distract me, and I'd sit down and be emailing you, and I'd be late for work. We don't want that now, do we? Plus, when I'm not going to carry on, but can you see the difference? Not everyone can read out a story. My God, there are some boring voices that I mean, even I've heard on the radio, and they drone, and some of them are so slow. Oh, and you're thinking, will you get on with it, dear? And it drags. It's almost like, reminds you of people that, certain people who come to church, and they drag the hymns. And it's, just so depressing listening to some of the way they sing them. And similar with voices, you know. Got to be able to tell a story. You know, just because you can't read a story or something doesn't mean that you're no good at everything else. You could probably do something else that I can't do. Can you play football? I can't play football. Can you play snooker? I can't play snooker. Can you draw a lovely picture? Guess what? I cannot draw or paint to save my life. That's true, that is. So there we are. Jennifer says, I have a question for Vicky. Why does Toby have his own room? Is he not free to roam the house at night? Does he not sleep with her at night? She needs to explain this mystery. It does seem quite odd. Well, I don't think so. If I could afford to have another room here on my in my house just for the cat, I would do so. I mean, she roams the kitchen. Sometimes she does come into the house, I must say, and sits on my lap in front of the telly, purring. But yes, Vicky, doesn't your cat sleep with you at night? Jennifer says, does anyone know, can cats get sunburned? That's a good question. Can they? Can cats get sunburnt? If you remember, she says, we have 3 cats outside now because of all the peeing that was occurring. She was getting a problem with cat wee in the house. Well, the two fat ones have developed some sort of rash on their nose. Chester just appears to have scabs, but Oreo is an entirely different story. Her entire nose up to her eyebrow line and underneath her eyes have become raw and scabby. Talking of raw and scabby, incidentally, don't forget Sean Ritchie will be with you at 5 o'clock this afternoon, and I gather he's got a cash-winning competition. Is that right? Can you win cash? Can you win cash on your show today? Okay? 5 o'clock UK time, UnitedKingdomRadio.co.uk, Saturday afternoons. That's when you'll find Sean Ritchie. After me at 4 o'clock, incidentally, in 10 minutes, is Tom Harris. Live from beautiful Chicago, using the new way of connecting to the studio tonight. So that might be a bit miss. We'll have to see about that. Tom, by the way, you can actually connect at just a minute. Oh, what's happened to my little mouse there? There it is. You can connect at any time, actually, Sean, as long as you manage to keep your mouth shut before I finish, if you don't mind. Thank you. Oh, I thought you could anyway. Hang on. Oh, it's not working. There it is. There it is. It's okay. Don't panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. There we are. Okay, let's do that. Right, we're waiting for your connection now, Tom. I shall be able to see you when you are connected. It's all very complicated. I've actually bought, those of you that are interested, a brand new piece of software, quite expensive it was, which should allow automatic connection to the station in the future. It won't happen overnight. Got to work out how to use this stuff soon. Come from New Zealand, actually, this piece of software. Anyway, back to the email. The two fat ones have developed some sort of rash on their nose. Well, where are they putting their noses? It's all very worrying. Chester just appears to have scabs, but Oreo is an entirely different story. She's got a raw and scabby nose. I've been putting a thick rash ointment on her, and it does seem to be getting better, but I'm thinking the zinc oxide would have been better. Now, you're talking chemistry here now, and I wasn't very good at chemistry. What's all that periodic table? I mean, what's all that about? What a waste of time and effort trying to learn such rubbish. Do you know that? The periodic table. I mean, I haven't got a clue what all that's about. Not a clue. Did you do chemistry at school, Jennifer? Huh? She says it's quite funny. She's a black cat, and when I put the white cream on her, she looks like a reversed raccoon. I'll have to get you a picture. Oh dear. Are we going to have a coughing fit? I tell you what, while I have a bit of a cough, you can have a listen to one of these, if I can find them. Let's play Sean's one. Sean's with us at 5 o'clock. Have a listen to this.
Hello, join me, Sean Richards, on United Kingdom Radio. I'll have some weird and wonderful chit-chat, jokes, funny facts, phone calls and Skype calls, and, if you're all good, a competition. No prizes, it's just for fun. So come and join me on United Kingdom Radio every Saturday between 5 PM and 6 PM. See you soon.
Actually, that's quite an old trowel, that one, isn't it? He will be giving away, or trying to give away, a prize tonight on his show, a cash prize. Who needs the money? Well, he might be able to help you out today. Sean Ritchie giving away cash. If you get the question correct on his show, from 5 o'clock tonight, Saturday afternoons, every week at 5 o'clock, UnitedKingdomRadio.co.uk. Back to the email. She says, and for Toby, the Japanese guy who wrote into you, I'm surprised he was treated the way he was here in America. Now, Toby wrote in, and he felt that he was discriminated against while he was in America. And he wrote in about this a couple of shows ago. I can understand The feeling of being unsafe here, says Jennifer. The crime has jumped since the economy took a nosedive and people are losing homes and jobs. I wonder if he had been living in a largely populated city. The suburbs aren't as bad, but crime still exists everywhere, and I mean it's everywhere. You'd think you'd have a safe backyard that's gated and some dude comes in and steals your bike, which is what happened to Jennifer. Someone went into her backyard and stole the bike. Thank God he didn't take my beer in the fridge. We have an Outback or all the frozen meat as well, as in a freezer in her backyard there. A few weeks ago, my neighbour was a victim himself. He manages an auto garage, and someone stole a truck and drove it right through the front window of his business and stole the cash register. Oh, we've had that here this week. Just down the road in Crowthorne, actually, where I usually cycle on a Saturday to put my wages in from work. And, yeah, someone has actually drove into the building society, smashed through it and tried to steal them, and they didn't get anything. All that work and they didn't get a penny. I love it. You know, but bold as brass. They literally drove these JCB things down the road and into the 2 o'clock in the morning. And I mean, how quickly do they think they're going to get these things? Don't take that long for the police to get there, does it? She says it's more of a shame that had they damaged so much property just to get a few bucks. That's always the case, isn't it? It's like, you know, when you have the window of your car smashed. So people want to see if there's... And you've got nothing in the car. You've still got to pay for that smashed window, haven't you? Wouldn't it have been easier to break glass through a small window? It wasn't the fact that they stole the money, but the extent of repairing walls and large glass windows, which would have annoyed me. Anyway, I hope Toby doesn't think that America is completely awful. There are some awful parts to it. And for Americans being rude, they are all over, says Jennifer. And this is coming from an American, okay? If he was just hanging out with the college kids on campus, I can see where people would burp and pass wind without care. Oh, well, I mean, you know, we all know someone who does that, dear. But on the whole, I don't think everyone needs to be categorised with that label. It all leads back to that one episode you did about opening doors for women and they ignore you. Must be getting back to work. Chat with you, Sue. And that's from Jenna. So thank you very much for that, Jennifer. I have got another email here from Jennifer that's going to have to wait, I'm afraid, till next Saturday's show because I'm out of time, boys and girls. Thanks very, very much for watching and listening to me this afternoon. My name's Chris Reardon. I'll be back with you live next Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock UK time. No shows during the week for me this week, okay, because I'm at my sister's. So next Saturday at 3 o'clock UK time. If you want to have a look at any of the other shows, and they go back 5 years, then you can find those at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, right? unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. The email address of the show, feel free to send an email at any time, anything that you've heard in the show, comments, anything like that. It'd be great to hear from you. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks so much for watching and listening. See you next Saturday at 3 o'clock UK time here on unitedkingdomradio.co.uk. Bye-bye now. Tom Harris straight after me.